look in the mirror, I see someone that I've self-qualified as capable to solve any problem in my own life. Look at me, I tell myself, look at all the good that I've done, look at all the victories that I've won, look at all the songs that I've sung, look at all the times that I've been number one, look at all the times that I've made myself number one. I must be doing something right since God loves me, right? I must be doing something right. It's that single deceptive thought that twists my picture of reality so that my sight is redirected to focus on everything else besides the actual light. Then one day I came across the story of a man named Job, and with him I can find relation because in his frustration he seems to forget who his God is, forgetting that the angry fists that he was raising at God were created by that same God, and for 37 chapters he demands that God give him an answer to why his life isn't going as planned. But if you haven't figured this out yet, rarely does God give us the answer we expect, but instead one that leaves a groundbreaking effect. God comes on the scene and says, "What do you mean that you've lost hope in me?" After listening to Job go on and on about how he's lost all hope in God, God goes, "Okay, my turn, pass the mic and let me show you what true greatness looks like." Dear, insert your name here. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Were you the one that set forth where was north and where was south, and then set apart the east from the west? Was it your request that the sun knew what time to fall and what time to rise over the crimson painted skies that I painted on a canvas with no end? Did you tell the ocean this is where you end and this is where you begin? Have you ever been to the beach knowing that every single grain of sand that you see that's too small to fit in your hand was individually crafted by my hand? Remember, every time you take a blank piece of paper and use your pen to sketch out the mountains and hills and valleys that you see, think of me taking a blank piece of earth and using my pen to stretch out every one of those mountains and hills and valleys to create beauty. Have you ever sat and just looked at the stars, seeing the breathtaking white lights brighten up the night sky, knowing that the backdrop that you're looking at is just a snapshot of a universe that extends farther than the human brain can comprehend? Was it your voice that spoke the universe into existence? Did millions of billions of stars form at your command? Was it your hand that placed each one of them in the sky? Are you the author of time? Do you know every single fact in detail of 8 billion individual lives? Do you know how many hairs on each of their heads? Do you know every thought that's ever crossed every one of their heads? Are you the one sitting on the throne of eternity while every living thing bows down and worships you endlessly? Or is that me? I can feel the breath knocked out of my chest, and I feel like Paul after the scales fall off of his eyes, and I can finally see how blind I've been. Because God's questioning forces me to ask the question, who am I? Who am I that the one with the name that the stars proclaim would care to know my name? And as I realize who my God is, I realize who I am. I am nothing. How many times have I raised my pedestal to stand higher than the one that raised mountains? How many times have I commented on my own accomplishments without acknowledgement of the one whose accomplishment on a cross meant that my own judgment was no longer determined by my own measurement of good? How many times have I told God that this was the way that things were going to be, forgetting that I was talking to the same guy that holds space and time and life and humanity's plan in the palm of his hand, so quick to check what's next on the schedule, but lacking to take a sec to check with the one that wrote the schedule? Why is it that I'm so quick to forget that without God, I am still dirt on the ground, that I don't even exist until he calls me found? And let it be known that I was bound to stay on that ground without a purpose, but God, knowing the criminal that I would be, still created me, deciding that I was worth the nails in his hands, even though I was the one that put them there. Maybe like me, you seem to be missing the point of God's perspective changing awakening call. He says, I'm not trying to make you feel small. I'm just trying to get you to see that you don't know it all, because you're so quick to forget that the story starts with we all fall short. I am just a speck of dust in God's universe, and previously to what I previously thought, I am not the center of that universe, and I don't deserve to be the center of that universe. I am the thief on the cross. I am the woman at the well. I am the lost sheep, and I am the prodigal son. Nothing that I had accomplished was good. I didn't even know what good was, because I had yet met the one that was good, but I kept trying to be good on my own, and I kept failing because I wasn't designed to be good on my own. So I kept trying and I kept failing and I remained nothing. But the story doesn't stop with us being nothing. Although I can do nothing good on my own, my Father is the one sitting on the throne, and He is everything. Because I am His daughter, through Him and through Him alone, I am made something